Okay, so I have a little bit of a rant today, and this is going to be one of those shop stories, and like, I don't know, this one kind of pisses me off a little bit. Sorry if it's a little bit negative for you guys, and I don't typically like to bring negativity into the channel, but at the same time, I was kind of in a shitty mood already, so like, this sort of like was a situation that escalated. But I'm gonna be real with you, you know, because like, it's one of those things where, you know, not every interaction is positive, right? And this is kind of one of those things where it was almost like laughably bad, but I just can't, like, I don't know. There was a lot of things that like led up to it, so like it probably wouldn't have been as bad if I was in a good mood. But I'll kind of break it down for you. So let's start from the beginning. So this guy comes into the shop, relatively young but old enough to buy a handgun, and he comes up to the counter. I greet him like usual. Hey, what's going on? You know, anything I could show you today? And this was kind of interesting because, you know, he pointed at some of the guns and was like kind of asking about them a little bit, but the subject of 5.7s came up. All right, so I have a 5.7. It is a pretty well-known fact that my love for 5.7 is strong.
So I've always wanted to be Sam Fisher, and we haven't shot any videos that have actually shown any shooting recently, and so now my dreams have been actualized.
My love for 5.7 is strong because of wound vectors, but it is one of those things where this is kind of a specialty pistol, right? So most people that are like walking off the street into the shop are not gonna like come up and be like, sell me a 5.7 pistol. Like, that's just not typically, like, this is not something that people just, a lot of people come in and ask for Glocks, or they ask for M9s or stuff like that, like, or, you know, the 320, like this, that's the new hot shitness right now, right? Basically, the 5.7 is kind of like your meme gun slash specialty pistol slash you play Splinter Cell slash you think you're fucking cool because it shoots a rifle caliber, you know, that sort of thing. So he is asking about it, and he was like, oh, do you think this would be a great carry gun? Now, there's a stigma with handguns, and because there's like, you know, you can get a permit to carry a handgun, and you can carry pretty much anything that's considered handgun. So, you know, people come up with all these BS ideas to carry like MP5s with arm braces on them in their backpacks, or like AR, like 7-inch AR pistols with like arm braces on them, and I'm just like, that's not really practical or whatever. Maybe you do it, and I don't care. You know, it's totally fine. It's within your legal means. It's just really weird if like you're the one to bust out an AR-15 with like an arm brace on it that's got a 7-inch barrel and you smoke the guy. It just doesn't look great, but you know, you're well within your legal rights to do it. That's totally fine. Now, 5.7 is not the first pistol that I would choose for someone that's new, who doesn't have any experience with handguns, as a carry weapon. But like, the vibes I was getting off this guy was kind of like, not like I'm gonna carry this as a defensive type weapon. It was more like, if I get into a gang shootout in the middle of the street, what's gonna give me the advantage? Now, he didn't say these things specifically to me, but there's a lot of visual cues, and some of the subjects that we talked about were kind of like borderlining illegal activity, possibly. And the thing is, I hate to like categorize this, but you know, they're like, the way that you present yourself can oftentimes be an indicator of intentions, you know? Like, for instance, you come into my shop wearing a black hoodie pulled up onto, you know, over your head, so you didn't put the hoodie down when you came in or anything. You're also of African-American descent, and you come in asking for a pistol that was originally designed to shoot armor-piercing cartridges.
Armor-piercing bullets?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Cop killers.
Which he kind of asked about too. Like, he was like, oh, you know, like, where can I get like the special ammo, you know? And I was like, wait, what do you mean? Like the armor-piercing, like, military ammunition? Like, and like the, I forget the term for it, because like there's the green tip stuff that's technically like you can buy it as a civilian, and then I think there's like actual armor piercing 5.7 rounds that are really tough to get as a civilian, that are typically like reserved for law enforcement military, because this gun is, you know, originally designed to fire armor piercing rounds and share the same ammunition with the P90, right? So like it's supposed to be close quarter body armor defeating type ammunition. So he was asking about these things specifically, and I was like, all right, dude, like, if you come in here and ask me for a gun that you want to carry all the time, I'm not telling you can't carry the 5.7 because I've tried it and I've done it before. It's just a big gun and it's not conducive to an everyday carry gun. But you can carry whatever the hell you want, right? That was my point from earlier in the video. So he was like, oh, you know, like I just wanted the advantage. And I'm like, dude, if you carry these, like let's say you get these magical armor-piercing rounds, right? That this is like kind of what his thought process is. Like he's thinking like, oh, I want the advantage in like a gunfight, right? And I'm just like, well, there's a chance that, you know, let's say you shoot and you miss, or let's say it travels through the guy and then like injures somebody or potentially kills another bystander because the ammunition you're trying to shoot is like armor-piercing. It could potentially be really bad for you. You know, you'll be held responsible or liable for like killing that person, the other person that was just there. And he's like, well, that doesn't make sense. And I'm like, how does it not make sense? You fucking fired bullets out of your gun, and those stray bullets that you missed the guy, or if they passed through that person and killed someone else, of course you're going to be held responsible and liable for that person's death. Like, you killed someone, right? You can't just go out and like fire random rounds in the air and expect there no consequences, right? Every bullet that exits your gun, you are responsible for where that bullet ends up. And if it ends up in a person, you're responsible for their death. And he was like, well, that doesn't seem fair. Like, that's not, and I was just like, it doesn't matter what's fair. That's the consequence. Like, you have to be responsible, right? And this was just really pissing me. He starts changing the subject a little bit, and he starts asking, because like, he had just like applied for his concealed pistol license, so like he had to go through. Washington has a waiting period. It's basically a waiting period for handgun if you do not have a concealed pistol license. If you do have a license, you still have to go through the background check, and you have to pass that day to take it with you. So there's a potential to get delayed. So it's not a guarantee you're going to take it the same day, but most likely, like, I have a concealed pistol license, so every time I buy a handgun, I take it the same day. Generally speaking, most people who go through the background check process who have a CPL will probably get their pistol that day. If you don't have one though, it's pretty much an automatic wait period, but the wait period is a maximum, not a minimum. So if you go through the waiting period, it's 10 business days, not including weekends or holidays, for you to get your gun. So you gotta wait. So he was like, okay, you know, kind of bummed out about not being able to get the gun that day, which I was kind of almost glad that he didn't. But any case, so we start talking about other stuff, right? So he's like, oh, can I get a rifle? And I'm like, yeah, you can buy a rifle. If you pass the background check, keyword pass, then you can take it, we pay for it and take it with you. So we start talking about ARs and stuff. He's like, yeah, I kind of want an AR-15. And he's like, can you carry rifles? And I'm like, you can't conceal carry them, but you can open carry them, technically. But you'll probably want to use common sense where you're carrying. Now, I'll give you an idea. The place that I live in is a pretty heavily, like, city-populated area. So, and the other thing is, you know, I live in Washington, and the place that I live in, it's, let's say the mindset is very liberal. You got a lot of safe space kids. You got a lot of people who have this sort of idea that guns are bad. You know, like, it's kind of one of those areas. A lot of shops that have signs that are like gun-free zone and all this stuff. And, you know, with the current political climate, it just makes sense not to open carry, even though it's illegal in our state, right? You just don't want to walk into a Starbucks carrying especially an AR-15 strapped to your back. Now, he seemed to think that, oh, you know, like, why can't I? You know what I mean? Like, it's legal to carry, because he was asking initially, like, oh, can I have it in my car? And I'm like, well, you can have it in your car, you just can't have it loaded. And he's like, well, like, I've seen people carry AR-15s on their back. And I'm like, dude, if you go into the Starbucks down the road carrying an AR-15 strapped to your back, okay, like something like this, SWAT team's probably going to come down and shoot you. Or potentially, at the very minimum, arrest you and question you and see what's going on. Because of the area that we're in, and in general, it's just common sense that in this climate and the surrounding area, the environment that you are in, it's going to make a big difference. And you know, I didn't say this to him, but I was like, dude, the way you're dressed and technically your skin color makes you a target. Like, that's just the facts. Like, you're not going to get around that. And I'm not going to soften this video for you because that's just the way it is. It's an unfortunate thing. I don't think people should be judged by the color of their skin, but it happens, right? And I've been judged for it too in many different ways. So it's just kind of one of those things. But if you're carrying something like this on your back and you walk into a Starbucks, you're probably gonna get the police called on you, because it's just not normal, especially in like a city environment where the liberal mindset is very strong. And I was like, look, dude, I highly do not recommend that you do this. If you do, you're going to get in a lot of grief, a lot of trouble, potentially get arrested, maybe even shot. And he was like, that's not fair. Like, it's legal to carry open carry rifles and stuff. And I was just like, fucking serious right now. Like, I almost just walked away. Like, I could not deal with what he was going on. And I was just like, look, I don't want you to get hurt. There are responsibilities to owning and using firearms. Like, you just can't get around that. It almost seemed like this guy thought that there were no consequences to any of the actions are performed with firearms. Like, if you walk into a shop and you've got a rifle slung up on your back, it's kind of a different story depending on where you are. But most places, I feel like, don't take too kindly to that in today's environments or in today's political climate. It's just, maybe it seemed like a more common thing, but at the same time, you also have to consider, like, it might be a different story. Shit, I lost the light. It might be a different story if you had, like, you know, I don't know, a policeman uniform on. That might be a little bit more acceptable. But even then, I see, like, people will, you know, basically, like, flip a bitch about, like, a cop coming into a coffee shop with a rifle slung up on his back. You know, I don't know. There's just a lot of things going on. But this guy just didn't seem to, like, click in his mind that, like, it just didn't seem like good common sense. And I don't know. It was just kind of a shit show. And it ended amicably, you know. It wasn't like this thing where we got into, like, this big fight and then, like, he left. Like, you know, it was fine. And I'm glad that I could impart at least some information so that he doesn't, well, I would think that he wouldn't go and try something stupid like this, but I just thought I'd share my experience with you on that. I do wish that it had turned out a little bit better, and maybe some of it was that, you know, I didn't have my best foot forward at that moment in time because I was going through a lot of other stuff in my mind. But it is one of those things where I think that it's something that's important to be addressed, is, like, you know, the way that you conduct yourself as a gun owner can really impact, like, the way people see gun owners, you know? Like, there's a lot of people who have guns that, you know, they are normal, regular people in society. And, like, I think that's kind of important, just, like, to be able to adhere to the rules of society and just, like, behave in a particular way that, like, keeps everyone safe. I'm sorry if this is kind of, like, a heavy video, but, you know, I thought I'd share. And, like, it makes me sad because it's like, dude, anytime someone walks in and wants to buy a 5.7, I am, like, ecstatic to sell them a 5.7. But in this case, I almost, like, he wasn't ready to buy anyway. So it wasn't, like, something where I was just, like, I told him to fuck off. Like, it was kind of one of those things where he was still just kind of gathering information. But I would have been a little bit reluctant to pull through with the sale because of the kind of behaviors that were being exhibited by the customer. And I just sort of feel like, you know, it just gives me very mixed feelings about the whole subject. So there's that. But to end the video on kind of a lighter note, I am going to SHOT Show this year, 2018. So that's pretty fun. And I actually got an invite to the Salient Arms International party. So I'm pretty excited about that because, one, I've never been to SHOT Show, and two, Salient party seems like it's going to be pretty lit. And what they sent me actually is a Nacho Libre mask. So this is so I got the invite, and then they sent me this mask in, like, this crazy, like, colored confetti box thing. So, yeah. Pretty cool. I don't know. It's pretty comfortable, too. I don't know if I'll have enough balls to, like, wear it there, but we'll see. But, yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you today. Stay tuned for more. I'm definitely going to be trying to put out more content for you. I do have some stuff that's coming up soon that should be pretty fun. But yeah, thanks for watching and supporting us. Really appreciate it. I do post things on Facebook, which if you aren't aware already, we do have a Facebook page. It's facebook.com/BATFE. It's still our old name. But definitely check it out because there's a lot of stuff I post on there that's never going to make it to the YouTube channel. So if you're a diehard fan, you'll definitely go and maybe put down a like or comment and stuff. And that's actually a way easier way to reach me. So you can definitely go on there and say hi, and I'll definitely try to say hi back. That is if you actually like me. If you don't, then I don't know. I don't know why you're watching. So yeah, thanks for watching our videos and supporting us all these years. And hopefully there'll be more to come. So stay tuned, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Oh, if you are going to SHOT Show, if you find me and you know who I am, I may or may not have a surprise for you. But I only have limited amounts of them. So come say hi to me and get a surprise. This isn't awkward at all. Okay, bye.